Thank you for the introduction and the opportunity to speak today. So, like many, I've spent probably the last 28 years in automotive, had the ability to follow my dream, get a number of technology firsts in, but also now the opportunity to lead many others to help them on their journey. And when I was asked to speak about this presentation, I actually went on a bit of a journey in terms of inspired by the innovation, but also reflecting on the challenges that we've got. I've got a vision, I've got a plan, but do I have the people around me to help execute it? So we'll talk a little bit about that. But while I was going through this, I first thought I'd better just give you all a bit of a brief overview of who Lotus is and what they do. Because many who see the Lotus parked on my driveway don't even recognise it's a Lotus, as it has been through a transformation. So currently today there are 4 models. The Amira, this is the petrol vehicle. It's the last petrol sports vehicle. Fantastic to drive. We then move into electrification, where we've got the Evija, which is basically our hypercar, which has obviously been doing recent circuits of the Nürburgring. And then we've got our lifestyle vehicles, which is the Electra and Emeya. The Electra is a large SUV, fully battery electric, and the Emeya is our new sports GT, which will be available on sale after summer this year. So back to the journey and back to the research I've been doing in terms of I've got a vision, which I'll come on to, but actually I also have a challenge. And I had been talking to a number of industry experts and come across this paper from AESIN Co, which is reflective of the challenge I'm at, which is basically the automotive industry is facing a giant skill shortage, and it's growing constantly every 5 years. And I then reflected back on my journey where when I was a youngster, I had the ability to follow my dream and obviously work with vehicles and cars and technology. And then it got to a reflection point where I went, how am I ensuring that my children or my children's friends and their children will have the same opportunity that I had that they need to have in the future? And then it made that point of we need to make sure that whatever we do, we need to work together and collaborate. And why do we need to collaborate? Because the world around us is changing. So, when we talk about cars, we've obviously talked about propulsion systems, we talk about electrification, we talk about the comfort, the convenience, the personalization, and everything else. But if we think about our journey with vehicles, it's changed. Cars are more reliable, they don't necessarily break down as often, but we have a lot of systems and software and technology around us that can help solve that. And therefore, our customer expectations have changed. It's no longer about what another competitor is doing. It's more like, why can't I have this technology that works on my phone inside the car? Or why can't I have this digital assistant that kind of, where I can order my shopping or get things delivered, work in the same way in my vehicle? Why does that second or third space have to be different? And obviously, when we talk to our customers of today and tomorrow, we find that they want seamless experiences. They have linked to brands, ecosystems of products that they want to share. They don't want to develop a new link or a new account or a new service with a third party, especially when that third party is potentially suboptimal. And obviously, our customers are therefore willing to pay for such integrations if your life is made more easy and seamless. You don't want to buy an electrification vehicle if the charging experience is a pain, which we know the industry has suffered. And then finally, we all do like personalization. And personalization comes from the time that we used to change our wallpapers on our laptops to what we do on our mobile phones and to anything else that we can now do digitally. And you can even use AI to help you develop some of that. So you've got to bring that all in. And it's that level of interest where we've seen that we need to build an ecosystem of partners and a community to actually help innovate for the future. However, before we go on that journey and we start innovating at a rapid pace, we often need to look at the past and we need to look at the history. And we also need to ensure that we're putting our customer first before we put the technology or the needs. And if you look at a typical Gartner-type hype curve, you can see that everyone got excited around data and systems. And everybody invested and there were startups. But did they actually tell the end customer what they were going to do with their data? Were they transparent? Did they share equally? Because they went after the monetary value, but not necessarily the value to the end customer. And we've had to take all of these things into account because it's not only our customers of today, but it's also our customers and our developers of tomorrow that actually are thinking about things, thinking about data, thinking about trust, data sovereignty, because these are all the things that can help me have the personalization, but can actually help me on that journey of innovation and the technology that I want. But it's not going to stop there. We're going to continue to face more headwinds and guardrails through changes in legislation, changes in regulation. We've seen what's happening in North America now with some of the regulation coming in around data and data repository, where data should be shared or shouldn't be shared. But at the end of the day, the data is yours. It's up to you on how you should choose to share it and how you should get the benefit. But it's also got to be transparent in a way. Where is that data going? Which country and which territory is that being shipped into? So these are all the factors and all the challenges that are coming in. Now, they shouldn't pose a challenge. They should actually pose an opportunity. And these are the opportunities that we need to look at, research on, and then work together on solving. And these are key things that most OEMs need to work on. It's non-differentiating, but yet we all work in our own little silos trying to solve the same thing. So there could be an opportunity to collaborate and change. And it's not just there. There's still improvements needed. I'm not sure many of you have seen around the privacy reports that Mozilla did, especially in the automotive space, where data was being shared or data was being used, and it wasn't transparent. And customers just didn't know. They thought their car was just a car. Now that's key. And then there's other changes where if you look at some of the most technically advanced automotive companies like Tesla, where maybe they're being a little bit more transparent, but they're also providing that lever. You can have that feature, but you've got to share this level of data. And if you don't share that level of data, we'll have to just turn the connectivity off. At least that's the first step. But there's many more steps that needs to be taken into account. So, with all that background, with all that mindset, where are we and what's our vision? Well, our vision is to create an ecosystem. It's to create that blueprint for connected experiences that our customers need. And to be frank with you, is this only for Lotus? No. But we want to be at the forefront of the game. And if you look at the diagram we've got here, you'll see key similar elements that the whole industry has to achieve. It's the vehicle, having all the vehicle systems interconnected, talking to one another. It's those systems talking with the business systems, the factory, the software repositories, the service records database being made available. Because for some regulatory aspects, that information also needs to be made available to certain areas where the regulations are in. It's also the customer interaction layer. It's where customers and also sales operatives and service agents need access to the data or the sensor aspects of the vehicle to help understand what the opportunity or what the problem is so they can be linked together. And then obviously there's other industry aspects. But here's the biggest piece that's really non-differentiating, or could be if you want it to be. It's the ecosystems and providers of services around the world that needs to help us. There are certain things around eCall and bCall that we have to do to meet regulations and legislation. But there's certain personalization, music streaming services, video entertainment that you might need when you're in an autonomous vehicle or sat in the back. Then there's the charging infrastructure and the intelligence that you need to make a true seamless experience. No single OEM can do this on their own. It's just too big. But this is why when we use the power of the industry and the ecosystem together, we can share those APIs, those touch points, those data points to actually allow the intelligence of what each of us have to ensure that our customers get the benefit of that. And if you think about most cars, they're an integrated component of systems and products and many subsystems. And it's making sure that we give access to those systems and technologies that aren't necessarily just locked inside the vehicle, available to our customers in a safe and secure manner. So we do acknowledge our customer demand, and we want to champion this, but we want to champion this in a collaborative way. Yes, we have a vision. Yes, we want to get there. But we've got two challenges. We're small, and many other companies in the UK and wider are small too. But while we compete with each other, the tech giants are overtaking us. And if you look at most in-car experiences today, you ask a customer what they want. I want CarPlay or Android Auto. It's the same vanilla experience across all the cars. So where do we get a chance to differentiate? And that's where we really need to add value. And by doing this work, we've also realised automotive companies do need to generate new revenue. So it's not just doing this for the greater good. We've also done some work with PwC where we've said we can actually generate and increase vehicle sales up to 30% by 2030 with the additional services and products that we can pull together. Now, you might say this is a bit of a vision. How easy is it to achieve? But from our studies, other adjacent industries have done this. Look at banking. Banking was very slow for many years. Then we had the startups, the disruptors, the Revoluts, the Monzos, and many others. And then the standard was created, the PSD2, where they had to share things safely and securely. But if you look at a lot of the new banking systems, you can get a visibility of all your accounts in one place. Couldn't do that before. Look at the IoT industry, smart IoT devices in the home, in the car, and everywhere around us. If they weren't operable, we'd end up having either just one brand or many different brands that just didn't work together. Those initiatives have started. We need to take those aspects and move them further into the work that we do. And then obviously, some of us will know about the open energy aspects as well, where actually to help create that electrified vehicle and that seamless experience, we need to make sure there's open energy standards for better pricing, competitiveness, but also how we charge our vehicles. So that drive for collaboration and open standards continues, and we need to learn and harness from that and ensure that we're providing that insight and knowledge to our people. So, where do I bring this back to? To ensure ecosystems like ours are successful, we need the right skill sets. We need the right skill sets of the generation of tomorrow, so our children, our children's children, but also industry leaders in different segments and working together. And if you think about it, we've all got components, but if we work together, we can actually make a change. And I know we all talk about AI. And there was an interesting post I saw recently on LinkedIn where even will.i.am mentioned the term, everybody's talking about AI. But where are we investing in our people? Where are we investing in human intelligence? Where I had the opportunity when I was 16 to join Rover Group and actually work with cars. How do we make sure we continue that so actually my children can follow their passion and dream of tomorrow and collaborate with us together? Thank you.